So I'd like to start with a very quick round of what's your experience in Morocco. When have you started your operations in Morocco, and how do you see yourself in, say, 5 years' time acting and operating in Morocco?
So, Teun Leenders, Commercial Manager, Mayor for Fallcreek. Where do we see, or what are our operations in Morocco right now? So currently we don't have operations in Morocco. We supply Morocco out of a network of nurseries in Europe. We are currently in the process of establishing operations here in Morocco. So where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Is that the entire supply and business that we do for Morocco will be based out of the Moroccan country.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Dunya, Applied Research Manager, EMEA in Driscoll's. From Driscoll's we have a well-established production in Morocco, in both regions, in the north and in the south, and basically we see more growth in the future, so if I would summarize it.
Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Yassine Larif. I'm the Senior Agronomist for OZblu in the region of EMENA. And OZblu varieties are present in the area since 2016. And we have confirmed varieties with good performances, and we have very good ambitions. We're actively looking for partners to grow with, and we're also having big projects with different partners in Morocco. In order to compensate the missing demand or fulfill the missing demand that we have from our customers.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Manuel Garcés, and I'm the Commercial Director for blueberries in Planasa for the EMEA region, Europe, Africa, and Middle East. Talking about Planasa and Morocco, Morocco has always been one of our key countries, our main countries, since many years ago. And also we run our own operations here since, I don't remember exactly, but 2017, something like that. We have our own farm in Kenitra region. We have our own nursery there, our own staff working in Morocco, so we are well established here. And for sure, talking about the incoming years, we're going to grow much more, and for sure, our future is linked to Morocco, to this nice country.
Okay, it's difficult to answer for me because we are not involved in Morocco. So our company, Top Fruit, we have basically the rights to all of the African countries south of the Sahara. So anything from Ethiopia down to Cape Town. So, but in terms of one of our breeding programs that we have, the IQ berries, the license holder for the EMEA countries is Sir Export. And I know they are actively planting IQ berries in Morocco. But we as Top Fruit, we're not involved, but you know, I was invited afterwards just to come and sit in on the panel. That's why I didn't have a chair. But yeah, I can give a bit of perspective on the IQ berries, which is a new breeding program from Australia. That's not very well known, but it's being rolled out worldwide now. But in terms of Morocco, that is the license is for Sir Export in Spain.
Peter, while you're there, I'm asking you the next round of questions. Do you have a no-chill program for blueberries, or are you investing also in tropical or subtropical regions?
Yes, some of the varieties of the IQ berry program, they are totally evergreen. So we have rolled out trial sites now up to Kenya, and they're growing on the equator. So that is completely no-chill, evergreen. They can produce right through the year. Obviously, we don't want to grow them all year round because you have to prune them to reset the plants, but we have production basically year round, depending on when you prune them. And also what we see is that we can have very, very early production. We can manipulate the production in terms of pruning with these evergreen varieties. And some of them are totally primocane. They just produce primocanes. They flower, they fruit all the time. So not all of them, but some of them are, which is, and the main thing about the primocanes, not all of them are very firm and very sweet. We have some that is really firm, which is something that's quite scarce for primocane variety pickies, because they are a little bit on the soft side. But yes, some of them are quite significantly good.
And which countries are you targeting for these varieties?
We're targeting the north of South Africa. That's now the northern part. We're targeting Zimbabwe, Zambia. We've already got plantings in Zambia, Kenya, and Tanzania. We're also sending plants to Ethiopia, but the climate is a little bit different there. But in terms of the areas which is sort of not subtropical, but which have more heat units in winter than other colder areas. And that's where you can prune them, and they will be very, very early.
Okay, thank you. Just keep going and let me know about the same topic, subtropical or no chill.
Yeah, okay, yes. I think in many of the things I agree with Peter. Also, he has a huge experience. In many of these countries that he was speaking about, we are also making some trials, trying to develop these countries. But today we are speaking in the specific case of Planasa, the actual varieties we have. We speak about low chill, okay? We don't consider, or we don't want to talk about no chill varieties, okay? But for sure, in the future, in the coming years, we believe these areas are going to be very important because of this this plasticity. Let's say I can play with the pruning time to choose when I want to produce. It's going to open the window for market for many, many things, and for sure, we are investing and in the future. But not only no chill. I mean, I think all the breeding programs, for sure, no chill is important, low chill is important, and also high chill is important. So we have all resources trying to get new genetics in all the possible areas where we want to be in the coming years.
Thank you. What about OZblu?
For OZblu, the main focus actually in our breeding program is fully on low chill and no chill varieties. So our breeding program in Perth in Australia is focused on varieties that we can grow and have great shelf life and have flexibility in our production windows and production regions. And actually only recently we have introduced 11 varieties to Morocco. One of them is the famous Magica, and we've got 10 other varieties that are new and advanced selections, each with its own characteristics that is important for different markets and different regions for growth, just to give us that edge of trying to get that 52 supply and try to target different production regions. Because as you know, we've got limitations in different areas of the world. Maybe the water is not available, maybe land availability, maybe the cost of production is a challenge. So we're trying to focus on varieties that can solve those problems, and we've managed to get a few of those that are really low chill varieties, and we've got a 1-0 chill variety that is actually giving us really good flexibility in Morocco and in Portugal, where we can actually also in South Africa, where we can even produce fruit outside of the South African season for local sales. And then that variety is now in Morocco in trial in different areas, to see the adaptability and how we can manage the variety with pruning and management techniques in order to target different production windows.
Okay, thank you. Dunia?
Sure. So if we're talking Driscolls in Africa as well, we are mainly focusing on low chill genetics with the aim of having the earliness. Our mission is about delighting consumers, so we focus on the delight as the main trait for our breeding programs. Crop resiliency is also one of the main things we are focusing on. We are aware also of these changing conditions of weather, water availability, labor availability as well. So we are trying to make sure that we are breeding for genetics that are delightful, that would make the consumer purchase the next planet, but also that are grower friendly in a way, like we can maintain the resources available and we can have great yields out of those. We have the chance of having also recently access to the Costa genetics, so both breeding programs are having and working jointly into achieving these goals.
Thank you. Turn for you, Fallcreek.
I think we're all trying to achieve the same thing here, everywhere. Fallcreek has breeding programs across all tier levels. What is currently not there is a subtropical program, right? It is something that we are considering for the future. To go into these regions, the question is why would we grow into subtropical regions? What purpose is it going to serve? So once that is clear, you can also start trying to develop very specific genetics towards it. Nonetheless, these areas are being trialed. There is fruit being grown there, local markets, exports. So all the genetic development we do on no and low chill is being trialed in these areas for to see if they would work, if there's something in there. We're not specifically going towards it yet, but it's happening. But I think the most important thing is, and what we all do as programs, is we try to develop and test the maximum amount of genetics in different regions to maximize their potential and see what is possible in these areas. Like we all do here in Morocco, right? We all have our advanced selections here. We're all trying to see what it does, like we do in all the developing countries in Africa.
Thank you. Let's go back to Peter. I would like to ask him how do you see Africa developing from as a producer to consumer countries? I mean, in particular, let's talk about South Africa. South Africa is starting to become an impactful grower of blueberries. What are the South African consumers thinking about blueberries?
Yeah, if we talk about Africa, if I talk about Africa, I talk about sub-Saharan Africa. So sub-Saharan Africa has changed a lot over the last 10, 15, 20 years. Our company is also the license holder for Pink Lady apple. We've got the whole of Africa for Pink Ladies, and we export a lot of Pink Ladies in the past 5 years into Africa. Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, all over Africa. And the consumer demand for quality fruit has changed over the past, even over the past 5 years. The consumer demand has changed a lot. They demand the best. They demand a Pink Lady. They will not buy a Royal Gala or any other mediocre apple. They insist on Pink Lady. And I foresee that the same is going to happen with blueberries. There's virtually no blueberry consumption, out of South Africa. There's a little bit maybe in some of the bigger cities in the major countries. But there's a huge market out there. The same people that's going to buy Pink Lady apples are going to buy blueberries. And I believe as soon as we have the varieties that will do well there, and I'm quite sure all of us that's sitting here do have some of those varieties and will have those varieties in future. And the people of Africa will eat quality berries. So they will awaken. We all know in terms of where the world is going, in terms of agricultural development, it will be in Africa because there's nowhere else. China is already there, and the next continent will be us. So there's going to be a huge demand. In the meantime, I would say our focus is to supply berries from East Africa into Southeast Asia, into India, into China, and into the Middle East. And that is a very short route. So out of Mombasa, for argument's sake, it's a few days into the Middle East, into Southeast Asia. Zimbabwe already has now, can sell, export to China. South Africa is very close to China now, very close to India, and I'm quite sure some of the other African countries will be admitted to export to China and India very soon. And then the floodgates is going to open. Sure.
You mentioned the Pink Lady apples. I think this opens another topic, which is branding and marketing in berries, and how breeders have or have not a strategy to promote their breed programs, or even the varieties, because Pink Lady actually is a name for a variety or a group of varieties. Yes. So while we know and we have heard how Driscoll is strong as a brand in the US, being the second brand in the consumer perception in the food and beverage, which is really impressive. And we know also about Fallcreek with its Sequoia program, which the communication of the brand and the strategy is part of the project. I would like to ask Planasa and OZblu whether you are thinking of investing in promoting your breeding program and your variety names to the consumer or to the retailers. Is there a strategy?
Well, this is a very, very good question. For sure, you can never produce your varieties or your genetics only for the retails or only for the growers. You need a perfect mix between what the grower needs, what the retail and even with the consumer needs, okay? Because you have to produce, you have to sell, and also you have to make the fruit attractive to the growers. So I think all the companies, even Planasa, we have a strategy, we are investment, a lot of resources to make our own brands, okay, to link Planasa's name or to link, I don't know exactly, but our blueberries name, just to make the grower identify your pannets, identify your fruit, because at the end, they are not buying sometimes, for example, in this case of Driscolls, you said, they are not buying blueberries or strawberry, they are buying Driscolls or they are buying Pink Lady, as you said, because they know it will be a good choice. So for sure, we have a strategy on that. I think in our specific case, we have good genetics, we have a lot of awards, we have won many of these last blind testings in China, in South Africa, in many, many places with some varieties. So we are using these awards to promote the genetics and also to make our genetics more known for the consumer, okay? So we are working on that, and for sure, in the short time, I hope to be Planasa, will be also a reference, will be a brand, and will be something that the grower, the retail, and the consumer will identify and will buy immediately, because it will mean quality, it will be flavor, it will be a good choice.
Thank you. What about OZblu?
As for OZblu, it all starts actually with our breeding program, because we try to breed our varieties in order to have that premium, consistent eating experience from our consumers. And then we move on to select our growers in order to protect our varieties, because you don't want to give a good variety to a bad grower, because then it obviously turns into a bad variety. So it all starts with the breeding program and then moves to grower selection. And then afterwards, it's all linked with that 52 weeks of delivery of premium, consistent eating experience to our consumers linked to our brand. So that is very important thing that starts from the basic of what we do and then ends up on the shelves of the retailers.
And for Fallcreek, how is the Sequoia Levy program developing and its awareness within the supermarkets and the final consumers?
So the Levy program has been rolled out in certain key markets. Didn't really bring us the success that we were looking for. The success is coming from the Sequoia brand. How the Sequoia brand has been recognized, how the Sequoia group within Fallcreek has tried to create that pull from the market, that awareness within the retail, that awareness with the consumer. This is where the true value is coming from the performance of the varieties that people now asking for it. Consumers coming back saying, hey, I want this set of varieties. So the Livy brand is not something that, like I said, brought us the success that we wanted, but the Sequoia brand in itself has done that.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the audience? I haven't seen any so far on the app. If there is anything you would like to ask our speakers, please send it on our app or just raise your hand and you get the microphone. In the meantime, I like to ask another question to Dunia. Your brand is a strong brand, and you seem to be very focused on getting the things done right. From which part of the value chain does Driscoll getting the inputs to drive your breeding strategy? So is it mostly the growers? Is it the supermarkets? Is it the consumer? Who tells you what to do?
Well, actually, the base of our work starts from our mission, which is to delight the berry consumers through alignment with our customers and growers. So we have the three components, and that's the base of all of our work. We make sure that our mission is actually delight. So we don't, as you talked about the brand, we need to make sure that each consumer who buys a Driscoll's Planet would expect the same experience every time. So they would expect a delightful fruit every time. Of course, we want our growers to be profitable. We cannot have a business without that. And we make sure that we are aligned with and meeting the expectations from our customers. So it's a combination of the three, and I don't think anyone can be successful without taking these three factors into account.
Thank you. And what about Driscoll's strategy on blueberries?
What do you mean? Sorry.
What are your plans? Because you are known for being particularly strong on raspberries and strawberries, and I think that blueberries is coming as well.
Yes, we are planning to be the blueberry leader. So that's the future goal, and we are working towards that. So there will be a great focus on blueberries as well. We are known for our robust, true, but we also are berry batch company. So we are not a one berry company. We want to succeed on the 4 berries actually.
Mm-hmm. And when do you expect to have the first results from your breeding team?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Hopefully very soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I think we are... over there. Mr. Savini, please get him a microphone.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. One question about the blackberry market in the future, because we don't speak a lot about the blackberries from everybody. Please, thank you.
Dunia, you start first.
Yeah, so I can start by saying that blackberry is certainly a great focus for us in Driscoll. So we think that we are in a good position with our genetics. We have great genetics with high flavor profiles and yields, and we thrive to continue in that leadership on the blackberry sector. So in Africa, and especially if we are talking Morocco, where we are today, we are certainly planning on growing more on that category.
Manuel, from my experience in Italy, we have seen for blackberries consumption going up and down every year in the last 2 years. It seems that the consumer is a bit confused about blackberries. Do you think we will have a better future for blackberries?
Well, to be honest, in my case, I specifically work on blueberries. Okay, so I'm not. I'm not involved in the blackberry business, but my personal opinion about blackberries, okay, is that probably is the most unknown fruit or the most unknown berry for the consumer. Why? Because sometimes it's difficult to buy a good quality fruit or something that you can really experience or you can really feel this fruit. So sometimes probably you buy these blackberries, and if you don't like it, you don't buy it again. So once the grower, because it's a fruit, I think it's a really nice fruit. It's as a berry.
Can be very nice.
Can be very nice, yeah. So this is why probably is the one that is not with high consumption levels, okay? But once the genetics, when the consumer gets more used to buy this fruit and to buy good fruit, probably is the one, I believe, with a big development for the future, okay? Because there are many hectares to grow on this crop.
Good and consistent.
Exactly.
I know Fallcreek is starting a Rubus program, so we would like to know whether it's more on raspberries or blackberries, or what's your thoughts?
That's great. It seems like it's a public secret now. So yeah, we are moving into the space of Rubus, but that is a very long-term strategy for the company on product diversification. But just to come back onto what is the blackberry market opportunity? I think if we look back, there were a few reasons why the blueberry market really grew, and one of those very important reasons was availability of the product, consistency, and the development of new varieties. To your point, Manuel, is if you go and buy blackberries right now, it's a hit or miss. You know, I buy Driscolls. I'm very honest about that because I know what I'm getting in the punnet. But if I buy something else, it's always hit and miss. I think if you are able to supply a consistent product, which has a consistent consumer satisfaction, that market will grow. And I think there is enormous potential in that market. Just like with any other fruit, if you do it well, if you can provide it 52 weeks of the year, it's not a seasonal product, that market will grow significantly in blackberries as well. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you, but honestly, for 6 months we received the Mexican blackberry, and honestly, the quality is up and down, and also the standard is not, the average is not higher. But it's market also, with fruit with the low quality, honestly.
Yeah, but we know when consumers buy a product and they don't like it, and the weeks that they don't return for that product vary a little bit from 6 to 11 weeks, depending on who you speak to. But if you have a bad experience, you will generally not come back for a long period of time before you try it again, because you need to forget that you had a bad experience, right? There will always be a market for people who are willing to try, but I think as genetic development progresses also there, we get varieties that travel well, that travel further, just like we do with the blueberries. Okay, maybe they don't sit in the ship for 30 days, right? But they can be trucked for a week, 5 days. You create that year-round supply. There is opportunities enough for it. That consumption will grow, and those consumers will come back on a regular basis, and that will become something that is in their shopping basket every week.
Thank
you. Coming one step further, one question which is in the back of our mind, even as a consumer, one trend for blackberries is to supply nice, large berries. How large should berries be, or how small should they be, does it make sense to keep growing larger and larger berries? We have seen a couple of weeks ago a 20.5 gram blueberry, which means 6 berries in one punnet of 125 grams. So maybe one family has to cut the blueberry in two and divide it and eat half a blueberry a day. So what are your thoughts about the size of the fruit? Of course, I know Fallcreek, they told me once you set a limit to 24 millimeters for blueberries. Is that still applicable?
I think it's all about what does the market demand and what do the consumers want there. There is within our portfolio also varieties that do a certain percentage over 30 millimeters. I personally, and this is my personal perception of large fruit, it's too big. You know, my children need to take several bites from a blueberry, if they're that big. Some markets people really like to have big fruit. Great, we will have that. Some markets like smaller fruit. Great, we have a solution for that. So does everybody else. It's going to be very specific on which target and which consumer you're targeting.
Excellent. So I think we have now covered some of the items we were looking for. I thank you very much for joining us, for being here on stage, for joining the conference. I would like also to thank the audience, the sponsors, for joining us for this very successful event. I hope everybody had good connections, good information, good opportunities to improve and develop its business. I wish you all the best and see you next year in Agadir. Thank you very much.